There are clubs that disappear and never return. And there are clubs that disappear but refuse to be forgotten. In the heart of Brussels, between trees, concrete and history, stands a stadium that remained silent for decades. No European nights, no trophies, no cameras. Only memories. Of a time when this club dominated the Belgian football. Of a time when Union stood for class, for resilience, for championships. Years turned into decades. Decades turned into silence. But some stories do not end. They wait. They wait for the moment when someone dares to believe again, when a club with a past is allowed to have a future, not built on millions, but on vision, on scouting, on patience, on the belief that history does not disappear, it just sleeps. And when it wakes up, it can be stronger than ever. Welcome to Hidden Club Stories, where every club carries a story. This is the story of Union Saint-Gilloise. This episode is sponsored by Hidden Shirt Club. They sell football shirt mystery boxes with real stories. Brussels is not a city of one identity. It is a city of layers, of languages, of migration, of history that never fits into one story. And within that complexity, Union Saint-Gilloise became great. Founded in 1897, Union quickly grew into one of the dominant forces of the Belgian football. Between 1904 and 1935, Union won 11 league titles. 11! To this day, the club still ranks into the top 5 most successful teams in the Belgian football history. More titles than clubs that are now considered automatic giants, and yet you would never guess that from the modern era alone. Because Union disappeared, not for a season, not for a decade, but for whole generations. The Joseph Marian Stadium remained, an Art Deco monument, protected heritage. A reminder of greatness without an audience, and still, Union never truly vanished from history, especially not because of one record. Between 1933 and 1935, Union went 60 league matches unbeaten. 60. A record that still stands today. That is why they are still called Union 60. A club that fell silent, but never stopped whispering, "We were once great." After the golden years of Union, the silence came slowly. Season after season, division after division. After 1935, Union drifted away from the top of the Belgian football. What followed was not a short decline, but a long absence. For more than 40 years, the club played outside the top division. While Belgian football modernized, professionalized, and commercialized, Union remained still. No investors, no grand rescue, no fast way back. The stadium became both a symbol and limitation, where others rebuilt and expanded, Union preserved. And so the club slowly became a name from the past. A quiz question, a footnote, a sentence that started with, "Did you know Union once?" Not a failure, but something harsher, forgotten. And perhaps that is the hardest fate for a great club. Not losing, but being forgotten. The comeback did not arrive with noise. No press conference, no billionaire owner, no promises of instant success. Union's return began quietly, with an idea. Instead of asking what the club used to be, they asked, what will it become? Not a club that competes with money, but with intelligence, structure, scouting, data. Union became one of the first Belgian clubs to fully embrace analytics. not to replace football with numbers, but to understand it better. Who fits this team? Who can grow here? Who is being overlooked? Promotion followed, and then another. Until in 2021, almost 86 years after their last title, Union returned to the Belgian top division. Not as tourists, not as underdogs who are just happy to survive, but as contenders. They play in the playoffs, they have European qualification, and they have consistent top finishes. As if the silence had been preparation. Union's advantage was never the big names. It was better questions. Take Dennis Unda for example. Not a wonder kid, not a superstar, but a striker scoring goals in leagues most clubs ignored. Union saw a profile, a system fit, Unda thrived, and soon the Bundesliga followed for him. Or Promise David, recruited for competitions few Belgian clubs monitored, raw, unknown, but the data told a different story. Union gave him clarity, a role, time, and again, an unknown player became a key player. These were not coincidences, they were patterns. Union did not gamble, they calculated. And in a league dominated by budgets, they proved that preparation can still beat money. When Union returned to the top, it faced a question many clubs struggle with. How do you move forward without erasing where you come from? Union did not choose reinvention, it chose continuity. The same colors, the same stadium, the same setting hidden between trees and concrete. The Joseph Marian Stadium came alive again. Not as a modern arena built for television, but as a place built for memory. Sporting success followed, top finishes, European qualification. But what truly mattered was not only the results, it was the feeling. Old supporters who had waited decades stood next to a new generation, discovering Union for the first time. A club that had learned to think modern, without learning to forget. Data and tradition, side by side. Progress without denial, Union showed that growth does not require amnesia, that a club can adapt without becoming something else. In a football world obsessed with reinvention, Union chose recognition. It did not return as a new product, it returned as itself. For decades, Union waited, and then the rewards came. In 2024, Union Saint-Gilloise lifted the Belgian Cup, a first major trophy in almost 90 years, and not long after, history was rewritten once more. In 2025, Union Saint-Gilloise became champions of Belgium again, their 12th league title, a number that does more than decorate a trophy cabinet. It places Union even higher among the most successful clubs in Belgian history. A club that once disappeared from the top division returned, and finished the story it had started nearly a century earlier. Not as a memory, but as a champion. The silence had not erased the past, it had prepared the future. Union Saint-Gilloise proves that history does not disappear when it leaves the spotlight. With 12 league titles, an unbeaten run of 60 matches and decades of silence in between, this club never stopped being great. It simply just waited. What makes Union special is not only that it returned, but how. Not by erasing its past, not by chasing what others had become, but by understanding who it always was. Union shows that progress does not require forgetting, that modern football does not have to come at the cost of identity, that patience can still exist in a game obsessed with speed. In a world where clubs are rebuilt, rebranded, and replaced, Union chose something far more difficult: to remember, to respect its history without living inside it, to move forward without losing itself. Union Saint-Gilloise is not a fairy tale, it is not a coincidence, it is proof that football still has room for memory, intelligence and belief. Not louder than the rest, but clearer. And sometimes that is what truly lasts. Thank you for watching this episode of Hidden Club Stories. If you enjoyed this story and want to discover more clubs, consider to leave a like and subscribe to my channel.